fireworks in the Senate has not stopped. It was a week soaked in tension and action. Senator Abdul Ningi made allegations, but his proof of evidence did not hold water and could not withstand the wrath of his colleagues as he was handed a 3-month suspension. Also, Senator Jaribe stirred the hornet's nest with another allegation that some senators got 500 million naira for their constituencies while others got less. He questioned the discrepancies. Indeed, Nigerians have not stopped talking, and the Senate is also making frantic efforts to redeem the image of the upper legislative chamber. On the program today, we will continue to probe the claims made by Senator Ningi and also the calls for the resignation of Godswill Akpabio as President of the Senate. You're watching the Hallowed Chambers on TVC News. I am Tijesu Adeyi. Joining me in the studio is the spokesperson of the Senate. He is Senator Yemi Adaramodu. It's good to have you on the program.
Yes, thank you, my dear sister, and I want to greet Nigerians. So we are here. Thank
you for joining us on the Hallowed Chambers. You have been quite busy lately defending the Senate on the allegations tendered by the very experienced lawmaker, Senator Ningi, accusing, the Senate and also the presidency of budget padding and, some other allegations. Are you convinced that the public, with all your defense, is convinced that the senator is just stirring the storm in a teacup?
Oh, well, first of all, like I said, I greet Nigerians, and then it's not that I'm defending the Senate. It's not a defense. It's setting the record straight. Okay. And not only that one, whether I'm convinced or not, Nigerians know that they are convinced, because when we were asking questions from the distinguished senator that raised the allegation, which was very, very forlorn and very wild. So it was done in the open. Then we made sure that not less than 5 globally viewed Nigerian television stations carried it live. And so once we did it, it was in the public glare. So we made sure that we brought everything to the public court. We did not even limit it to our own court, because people will say, oh, maybe we are sweeping things under the carpet. Maybe we are trying to juggle some cards under the table. So we didn't do that one. That was why we did not commit it to the committee in charge of ethics and discipline. So we said the committee of the whole, we take care of it. And committee of the whole means all senators that are available, the 109 senators, only anybody that chooses not to come. So we were all there, so that people will ask questions, senators will ask questions, then he himself will be able to defend himself. So that was why we conducted it in the open. And so it's not about convincing Nigerians again. Nigerians should have been convinced, unless if there is anybody who still acting the Thomas, who is not interested in maybe following the truth, and once the truth has already been established, everybody now knows that there was no budget padding anywhere, that there was 28 trillion naira budget done for 2024, and there was never a time 25 trillion naira budget came up. That figure did not even come up at all anywhere, either as a proposal, either from the executive or from the legislature. It never even came about at all. So it had always been between 27.5 trillion and 28.77 trillion. And so that was the figures that we worked around. And then at the end of the day, both the executive and the legislature agreed on 28.77 trillion naira budget for 2024. And so that was what we did. And so it was now established that 2 budgets were not in contention, that the federal government is not operating one budget which is very different from the budget that the National Assembly passed. We put all the faces of the cards up for the public to see. And so if anybody is still in doubt, then that means that person has another agenda entirely.
But distinguished, for someone that is supposed to be an experienced lawmaker, that was even part of the budget process before it was passed and then assented to by Mr. President, would you call it a case of mischief, or he was not properly brought up to speed with what applies with the budget? Because we saw the chairman of the appropriation committee giving a detailed breakdown of how that, explaining how that 3.7 trillion can be accounted for. So where is the missing link?
Well, what we think is this: our brother, the distinguished Senator Abdul from Bauchi Central, had been a very, very sound mind. He had been contributing meaningfully in any debate, either for motion or for bill or even whatever topic that came up in the chambers. And we all respect him, and we still respect him. But maybe somehow, somewhere, some people thought they can just go through him and get some things done, or some questions answered in a way that are not the real answers to those questions. So even when he brought it up not even with the senators, which he could have done initially, though. He went to the Senate President together with colleagues from the northern states. He went to him, he explained to him, he said, he had some misgivings about the budget, that he told an expert to go and do some research for him, and that he got some results over the research. The Senate President told him, okay, bring it forth, give it to me. Even before you give it to the whole Senate, give it to me. Or if you so chose, you can give it to the whole Senate. And it was just maybe few hours or 1 or 2 days after it, he now went to the media. And the media he chose to even present it became very curious. Because one, if you want to choose, you want to talk to the media, we know the media in Nigeria, but you went to BBC Hausa, meaning that you only want the Hausa speaking people in Nigeria to know. And that means you are inciting those people against those ones that are not speaking Hausa. So we started looking at it curiously, that what could have informed its choice of that kind of media outburst. Now, when we even got it, we did not even stop at that. We did not even crucify him. We thought that maybe he had some reasons and he has some facts which might not be known to all of us, because no one is a repository of knowledge and the wisdom. So we said, okay, bring it forth to us, show us, let us see it. But when we started smelling the rat, was that initially he said he was acting on behalf of the northern senators. Later he said, when the northern senators now said, we didn't have such a meeting, we did not give such an assignment, we did not agree on such kind of outburst. Then he said he was acting alone. Later, when we now called him to act alone and talk alone and defend alone, so he could not defend that. He started shifting it. Started saying that, okay, he did not mention budget party. What did you mention? If you talk about a figure and another figure coming up, then that is party. So he said he didn't mention budget party, either budget party or budget palpy or budget palpitating or whatever budget. Yes, show us, tell us. He could not. Fortunately, the chairman appropriations, that is Senator Olamileka Solomon, came up with all the documents, all the papers. He represented, and unfortunately, our own brother, the distinguished Senator Negi, was even a member of the appropriation committee, which I happen to be a member of. So throughout, we participated in the budget processes. We did joint sessions with House of Representatives. We called the MDAs to defend their budget. After doing all those things, he didn't raise any eyebrow. I did not raise any, and nobody raised any. Then after it, when the budget was presented to the executive agreed in total that, okay, this budget they can work with, and that resources, revenue to be generated, that they are capable of doing that one, and to make sure that that budget performs to the optimum.
But do you agree with the Senate leader when he says there might be some undertone to what played out in the Senate, given that maybe some people are not satisfied with the emergence of the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, and they're just looking for means to offset?
Yes, it will look like that, because for the Senate leader to even opine like that, any right-thinking person will look at it like that. Because if nothing has happened, and then you raised an issue with the same Senate president, and the Senate president received you, welcomed you, and told you, okay, bring the facts. Before bringing the facts, either before that Senate president or before the whole House, before the whole Senate, now you went to the media. Surely someone will take it that maybe you don't like the Senate president. And moreover, when you are now singling out Senator Akpabio, who is not the author of the budget. The author of the budget are House of Representatives, all the members there. Senate, all the members there. The executive. So why are you now talking about Senator Akpabio? It means that you are questioning his leadership. And when you are questioning the leadership of somebody, it means that you want that person to get out of the way for you. And so that's, anybody could have, any right thinking person could have thought so, that maybe this is targeted against the personality of one person. And because that even PDP, when they were even doing their own reaction, they were still PJ holding it on the Senate president. So we can just ask the question, is this the agenda of what they call the opposition, and is that how to play opposition? And unfortunately, the senator in question is from the opposition party. So you cannot just expect any person not to think that there is more to it than meet the eyes.
The matter also brought up the issue raised by Senator Jaribe, where he mentioned that 500 million naira allocation was given to some ranking members of the Senate, and some lawmakers have already admitted that, okay, they got some of these allocations. Some say they didn't get up to 500 million. We had Senator Mongono yesterday come into the studio to say he received 300 million of that allocation. But do you think, my question now is, do you think this will be fair on constituents for
some people got,
yes,
some people did not.
The unequal sharing? Do you think it will be fair?
Well, for me, as the spokesperson of the Senate, there was never a time we sat down together and now we said so amount of allocation will be given to senators. The only one that is sacrosanct, which is equal and even, is that of zonal intervention project funds. And they are not even given to senators. You are to nominate projects for your constituencies or for your senatorial districts to the tune of so, which you will do, submit to the MDAs, and then through the appropriation committee, and then that's all, which is known to everybody, which is known to us. But you cannot just remove that fact that one, either to the MDAs or to wherever, that someone can lobby, you can go out there and start begging, please, my area they need water, my area they need a bridge, my area they need a renovation school, please help us, help me do those things. Because lobbying is part of legislative business, legislative processes and maneuvering. So besides that, there was never a time that a kind of 500 million naira was given to either ranking or non-ranking senators as institutionally allocated. There was never a time that one happened. So the senator that said so, even when Senator Jaribe was talking, he was not allowed to even finish his statement. By the time people started, did that happen? Where did it happen? Because people will be curious about it, they'll be furious about it. Because he was saying that somebody told him that so amount of budget support was given to ranking senators, and that he told the person that he, as a ranking senator, he did not get it. So definitely, if he, as a ranking senator, did not get it, it means that it is not a universal a grant. So, and I don't want us to keep flogging that kind of issue, because there's, as spokesperson of Nigerian Senate, there was never a time we sat down institutionally and said that, oh, 500 million naira to ranking senators, senators that are not ranking, give them below that one. When we want to share anything to the constituents and to the senatorial districts, it had to be on equal basis, and that's how it has always been. So this 500
million is not for the constituents. Who does it belong to then?
For me, I don't know anything about 500 million naira. So he only said that somebody told them
But some lawmakers have confirmed that they collected this money.
500 million.
So where did that money come from?
That please, if you have the names of the senators that collected 500 million,
I just mentioned Senator Mo.
You said he said 300 million. 300 is not 500. But I didn't collect that. I didn't collect 500 million. So you said he said 300. So, and you know, we are supposed to nominate projects.
Okay.
That amongst, and I always say one thing. I said, even let us start this from the media. Let us take hold of the appropriation document, the budget for 2024.
Now the PDP has called for the resignation of the president of the Senate, and they say they are solidly standing behind Senator Ningi and his allegations. But what they are saying is, why was that matter not committed to the petitions committee? Rather, it was committed to the committee of the whole. Is it in line with the Senate standing rules?
Oh, thank you very much, my sister. You know, I don't expect anything less than that from the PDP. They think that is how to play opposition. So, and you don't play opposition with the personality of only one senator. So when you want to play opposition, you do it seriously. You allow it to be larger and well-based than ordinarily just sticking your poke nose into the matter of within the Senate. The Senate has that right, likewise the House of Representatives, to make rules for its own guidance. It is a constitutional right for us. We make our own internal rules. We can vary it if we like, depending on the situation. And not only that, we now thought that if we had made it just as a committee to look into it, this same people will say that, oh, maybe the committee has already been guided. They have told them what to do. They have said that they should indict that senator in question. Then we now said, okay, we are not going to do that. Everybody will now contribute. Either you are PDP, you are APC, you are APGA, you are NPP, NNPP, you are Labour. Everybody will contribute. And then it's going to be done in the full glare of everybody all over the world. Anybody, 5 television stations, globally watched television stations, journalists there. Now let us do it in the open. Whoever wants to say anything, let that person talk. Then we give the person in question the right to respond, to reply, to defend, to assert, because EU assert must prove. So you now bring home whatever you have as evidence or whatever you have, whatever you want to say it. Now after it, everybody knew then, including the PDP people who are watching then, knew that our brother did not come up with any evidence. At the end of the day, it was prevarication over language, over semantics, because they thought they are going to make the Senate uncomfortable and that maybe the opposition will start from there. But the Senate is solid, is united, is one low number. We don't talk of parties when you come to the chambers. So it is one Senate, one Nigerian Senate, the 10th Senate, under the leadership of Senator goes with Apabio. So we don't see ourselves as APC, PDP, because the laws we make are not made for PDP or APC. So whatever we do there is not in the caprices of any party. So they don't know that one, that we don't play that kind of card in the Senate. And so, for goodness sake, let us call a spade for once. If you have erred, let us show the whole world that you have erred.
Distinguished, before I let you go, you know the Senate, despite the suspension, has given the senator an opportunity to tender an unreserved apology to the senator. Has that apology been tendered yet?
We have just had only two legislative days after the episode. So it's not too late for him to tender that apology. And then
but do you think from his body language, do you see him apologizing?
I don't normally study body language. I study the language that I hear from your mouth. So, and the language that I heard from his mouth then was that he knew he has offended the Senate and that he had not told the whole world the truth about the issue of budget padding. And he has recanted that he did not say budget padding, and that he was given the ample opportunity to defend themselves, and they could not defend themselves.
Operating united, do you think this matter would divide the Senate along regional ethnic lines or geopolitical lines? Do you see that happening?
No, it cannot. It will even strengthen us. Why I said so is that if a senator who was once the chairman of Northern Senators Forum spoke about issue like that initially, spuriously, and then his colleagues from that region were disowning him, they were saying that no, they were dissociating themselves, then definitely it means that it cannot cause ethnic uproar. It can't cause any kind of ethnic cataclysm in Nigeria. So it means that the Senate is one number.
The National Assembly is a busy place. As the bastion of democracy, it is a place where bills are presented, motions debated, laws made, and the yearnings of the people are laid bare. Come with us as we take you through the workings of the National Assembly. We take you through plenary, committee meetings, and probes, all to ensure smooth working of the democratic process.
Glad to have you back. And another guest we have in the studio with us is the Chairman, House Committee on Custom and Excise. His name is Honorable Leke Abejide. Thank you for joining us on the Hallowed Chambers.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a while we've had you on the program.
Of course, yes.
It's good to see you again.
Some time.
Yes, it's good to see you again.
For politics.
Yes, I see. Well, as a legislator in the 10th Senate, we see 10th National Assembly rather, we see that the National Assembly is taking the issue of security quite seriously. And you know, a lot of money allocation is being pumped into defense, but it seems like nothing is really being done about, you know, salvaging the situation. What is your take on this?
Thank you. You have heard it that experts have been speaking. I've listened to so many speakers on this topic. And one thing they are saying is that the security personnel we have in the country, the numbers are inadequate. And that is very true. I was listening to Senator Ndumen the other day. He was saying that all the security, if you talk of the Nigerian Army, Nigerian Air Force, Nigerian Navy, police, customs, all put together, including the NSCDC, they are not up to 1 million in number. Tell me, how are they going to police or secure 250 million population? Even with our large landmass, this is the problem. The recruitment of people into the security agencies is what we need at the moment. It's pumping money. If you pump money and there's nobody to use that money, who are you going to spend it upon? They are not, the personnel are not enough. Even if you bring equipment, let's say you bring ammunition, and you don't have somebody to use the ammunition, you don't forget, in the course of fighting this asymmetric war, they are still losing men. That's why they are inadequate. They are losing men. So this is what is responsible. That's where I see it.
All right. The current insecurity is not only peculiar to one region, but there is currently an ongoing conversation on finding a lasting solution, and that is where the issue of state police comes in, and that seems to be quite a controversial matter at the moment. Where do you stand?
To me, I believe we should go for state police.
Okay.
Since we cannot recruit at federal level to meet up the demand of the security personnel, the states should complement. Now the states are getting a lot of money. But in terms of securing your state, the state police should do the work because they know the terrain. Better off than the federal
The states
police.
have more funding, but looking at the current economic situations and the situation that Nigerians find themselves in, a lot of state governors will be looking to how to reduce the hardship Nigerians currently face.
Yeah, that's what we want. If they can do that, is a good thing.
Yes. Yeah, so
but
where would they get the funding
to
fund extra security in the state? That is the state police.
Even you heard what Kaduna State Governor said, that before they were borrowing money to pay salary, but from now they pay salary, and even have excess to spend on projects.
All right, speaking of the effort of government in, reducing the hardship of the citizens now, some people might say that, their efforts is going a long way in, reducing hardship for Nigerians, and maybe Nigerians are beginning to feel a bit of relief. Do you agree with this position?
Yes, federal government is doing a lot. Federal government, to me, the president is as if he's not sleeping. Okay. That is why we, from the National Assembly, there was even a motion that came up. I spoke. We appeal to the state government to complement the effort of the president. If the way the president take it passionately, the states are taking it, the impact will be quickly felt by the people at the grassroots. Then local government is not working. And the problem is from the state governors. If the local governments are working the way it's supposed to work, the sovereign will not be as much as this. The security vote now cannot be a personal money to anybody, either a governor or a local government chairman. So whatever comes now is supposed to be used judiciously to mitigate this evil thing we are having around us. So our federal government is making effort, and everybody appreciates that.
You're the chairman of the Committee on Custom and Excise Duty, and the president just directed that all food that have been confiscated at the borders should be returned to their owners with conditions attached. Do you think this would somehow stall the efforts made by the customs in controlling the smuggling of goods into the country?
Well, the directive of the president is to give it back to the owner, to take it back to the market. So that this inadequate, the shortage of food we have now will be reduced. I think that is the essence. It's not that the federal government is trying to stop customs from doing this statutory job. No, the statutory duty. They are working. It's not only this type of thing, the custom. There are others that are arrested that president directed them to sell to the commoners, like the rice, and which they have sold at 10,000 naira.
Do you think this is the way to go?
Yeah, it is the way to go. It's only that the quantity is not enough to even go anywhere. So, but the one they have, the federal government, the president directed them to give to the owners. I think the owners too should appreciate that, at least for them not to suffer too much losses, government help them, and they should not try it again. Any attempt to do it again, it will be total zero.
That is all on the program this week. Do remember you can watch a repeat broadcast at 7 a.m. on TVC News on Sunday. Also, you can see this episode again on TVC News YouTube channel. Do not forget to subscribe, like, and share. Thank you for watching. I am Jesu Adiri. See you next time.